I just have, just as we wind up, both of you clearly believe that chanting the Psalms is important. And if I would just be curious in one or two sentences, why do you believe people should chant the Psalms?
I think that people should chant the Psalms because they should know the Psalms and sing the Psalms. But because as we spoke about it, it's God's hymn book. But I prefer chant to, I think we should prefer chant to metrical or other paraphrases of the Psalms because it's not paraphrasing scripture. The Psalms are incredibly flexible. You can toss in whichever translation of scripture that you prefer. But then I think most important to me is sort of the historicity of it. These psalm tones that we have are, I mean, the church has been singing them for thousands of years, oftentimes paired to the same psalm. A friend of mine was telling me that Psalm 114 has had the same, I believe it's called like the wandering tone, something like that, the same tone used since before Christ. So that is just cool. I mean, it's not that, not necessarily that, the fact that it's old makes it morally better, but it's just really cool to think that you're singing the same song that Christians have been singing for thousands of years, and that are, if we truly believe Hebrews 12, they're singing it with us every Sunday morning as the heavens come down and they worship with us, or we're brought up, however you like to think of it. But they're there present, the cloud of witnesses, right?
A few years ago, as my mother lay dying in Texas, she had dementia. And I went to Texas in early July, thinking I was going to find memory care. And long story short, it became clear within a few days that she was headed on a one-way street to the valley of the shadow of death. There was not going to be a U-turn. Now, she knew who I was right up to the end. She didn't know much of anything else. But she had fallen and broken her hip, was going to have surgery there in early July. And the night before the surgery, I thought, I don't know what's going to happen on that table tomorrow. And if I have anything to say, now is the time to say it. So I thanked her for some things, just trends in my life and, what she had meant. And then I thought, what I should really do now is sing a psalm. Well, we're right outside, the room is right outside the nurses' station. And I realize, as much as I believe in all this, I don't consider myself any kind of soloist. And if I sit here and chant a psalm, these nurses and other people are going to hear. And I thought, the day's going to come where I'm going to look back at this moment and say, I'm not going to say, gosh, I wish I had not sung to my mom on her deathbed. So that's how I came to the courage to chant Psalm 23 over her. And she kind of half joined in because, she's of a generation that certainly memorized that, not with the psalm tone, little simplified psalm tone, but she knew the song. So went through the surgery. It became clear after this, she's going to die. So I resolved, I'm going to do evening prayer over her every night. So what did I do? I did what I did from memory. Now, I don't think any sin would have been involved if I'd had a prayer book there to open up. But you see, because everything I had was here and here, I'm free to hold her hand and to lay hands on her as I do this each night. Excruciating. But I did at least these psalms every night for those 6 weeks. Psalm 51, which I chanted over her. Psalm 103. And often Psalm 25. This is the language of Mount Zion. And it's if we have forgotten how to speak it, hear it, sing it, and so forth, it needs to be reclaimed.